Well, hello there. So, I thought it was going to start with the morning. So, I guess it did start with the morning. That's a start. But the morning comes after the evening. That's not a defense. On the evening of, or what were you doing? Was there snow? Did he? I think she just. That was a little power dynamic there between the two of them. Oh, what's his name? What's his name? All right, so I completely don't know what the Commonwealth uh, what that lady's name is. But then you've got Ryan Campbell. Camp Ball? I believe it's Camp Ball. I think I looked that up. He's local. Well, it makes the most sense. He kind of looks. I only saw really the back of his head for like a moment. I only saw the back of anybody's head sitting in that chair back where I was. It was like everybody's head. It's back of the head. And so you don't get the facial expression, right? You don't get to see what, just little ticks. I mean, you can always fake these little things. Now. But from the back of the head, sideways, yeah, you miss those things. So, the Commonwealth, I did not catch it. I could probably look it up. This stream may be long enough where I do look it up. So, I would say grab your popcorn, but it's not one of those things. I mean, like, pause it and speed it up if you're ever going to come back and look at it. You don't have to go get a sandwich, go do laundry. I got laundry here. As soon as I get bored and need to start talking about something that I'm trying to like pick apart, because I just came to this realization that so all right, I'm not sure what these two lawyers' history is, but you could tell they sort of they've been watching. Well, they obviously both were watching the Karen Reed trial. That's quite obvious because Ryan Campbell. Who am I going to call Ryan Campbell? Oh, jeez, I can see it. I can see it. But what's her name? So the Commonwealth had what's her name with the bun. She had a bun, and then she had a little lapdog over here who was facing her the entire time, like this. He's like, he couldn't sit forward facing the judge. This was the most relaxed courtroom etiquette from that whole day. So I was kind of hopping around, seeing how how different courtrooms were run, seeing how different Commonwealth attorneys were presenting. I have the sniffles. Why? Oh, because I'm talking. Yeah. So I don't think I've talked this much all day. It's only 4 hours into the day right now, 4.5. Sorry if I'm going to talk with my pen and stuff. I'm feeling a little animated. 9/27/24. Maybe if I ever watch this again, I'll put that back in the description. So, September 27th, 24 is when I'm currently recording this. The day after 9/28/24. 9/28/24 was a Thursday. A day like any other day, except for I had planned, because I wrapped up everything I had to get done, to give myself a day off the day before. So Wednesday, the 25th, I just went all day. I went buck wild, got everybody done, and got an oil change, and everything was good in my world, my little myself little world. But something was brewing, and so where am I going with that? So the day before, the day after now. So it's a good day to you. YouTube time warp. I wonder how well this is going to age. All right. So speaking of age, what got me going this much, my brain, my squirrel brain, my cat brain, both going like this, is a case I saw this afternoon. And I was taking notes all day. I started at, 9/26/24. So LH at Circuit Court, law enforcement officer at Circuit Court, 8:45. 1D, so it was the basement, 9 a.m. So, oh yeah, that cool cat. All right. So the bailiff came in. I'm like, I'm just gonna go court watch. When's this thing start? This sort of thing. And he was like, well, you got to get rid of the drink. I was like, well, I don't know where to leave it. And I was like, it's empty. Like, I showed him, like, oh, it's empty. I just got to go fill it up in like an hour and a half or something like that. Yeah, I think at that time it was about another hour. Yeah, 10. So 8:30. Doing one of these, a full one every hour and a half. And I think it worked pretty well. By the end of yesterday, I was sweating. Yeah. Got off the grill, and it was humid. Anyway, the previous reason I was happy that I was sweating is because I had lost my electrolytes, and I was keeping dehydrated for a while, and it was tough to get back the electrolytes, like maintenance. In any case, different. But I mean, that is actually part of where this all began. So it does play into it, I guess. Because I did need a day of rest today. because well, health issues. I've got some autoimmune disease they haven't figured out yet. So I've got another doctor practicing on me, rheumatologist type. I'm brain farting on his name. It's a pretty cool name. If I ever watch this again, I might put it in a comment. But maybe I should have titled this "I Digress." So I needed a day off. So I worked to get everything done, and I think I did a pretty good job. And so I got it done. And so I got home. I'm like, hey, tomorrow. And I know I didn't want to jinx it. So I had to plan out, like, what's something that I can do that's going to seem like work? It's like, all right. So I'm watching like these LawTube channels, watching all these cases. And I'm sitting there. I'm like the whodunit. I'm trying to be all Columbo and everything. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to court watch. And I've done it before. I've gone to other court just to watch. Not going there. When I was younger, I think the last time I really had anything that I needed to go to court for was traffic, and that was Northern Virginia. I had just started driving around here, so I didn't know. If you're trying to keep up with traffic, they have lanes for this and lanes for that, and you can't in this certain hour. You can't be this load in this lane, and it was the very far right lane. Why would the largest truck on the road be not supposed to be in the far right lane during heavy traffic? Right? All the other small cars, they can go around. So you should have this long line of heavy trucks on the far right. So the other little cars can get around, because if you got a big heavy truck, you got somewhere to be. You're going to be there. You're going to get on time. You planned ahead. You get your route set. You're going to be in traffic. It's a jam. That's what it is. You plan for it. We got big, heavy trucks. We have CDLs. We plan for shit. Right? Freaking Northern Virginia. I don't know. The debacle is of Loudoun County is getting there. Yeah. What do I call it? The debacle. And I don't think it just started on I think this is a symptom of something broader. And there's not going to be any justice in this case. This is the same as any other. What is real justice? I mean, okay, real justice. Let's say number one, I have not seen an autopsy. I only heard testimony from when I was in this courtroom today, and there was an unaliving of a driver of a vehicle, and there were some pews, or actually no, there was not some. There was just one pew. And so originally there's four people in a car. One testified that they never saw the weed. They never smelled the weed. from what I heard in testimony, that's my audio. That's filtered what I heard, but I thought I heard that pretty loud. He said, "Did you see it? No. Did you smell it? No." That's what I heard. Now, if I'm wrong on that, but I'm basing on I heard, because he was very soft spoken for a while. Soft, you know. I, I can't imagine. Okay. The symptom of the debacle. So you have 3 people left in the car. So driver's seat, rear driver's side passenger, front passenger. Front passenger says there was a tussle from the back seat, and he was just all the way over here. He didn't actually say where he was, but he just saw hands grabbing bags a couple times, grabbing bags, and then woo, because he was grabbing it like this on top, yeah, like that on top. So he's grabbing a bag on top, and then poof. Oh no, yeah, sorry. He grabbed again. He went to grab again, and that's when the bag popped. It was like popcorn all over the vehicle. And then I really didn't catch it. And I think it might have gotten glossed over in my brain because I was still reeling in the fact that I had no idea I was going to be in the middle of a murder trial. You know, I guess foundations and this preliminary. I mean, it's not what I was expecting. I was looking at the docket, and I'm like, okay, well, how many? I was looking over. I thought, there's like, what did I say? All right, how many are in that one docket? I was like, literally beforehand, I was like, how many are in there, and how many are in there, and sometimes you just get the instinct. Like, let's say, okay, there's a whole bunch of cops there. That's probably where I want to go because cop testimonies, pretty interesting. Where was I? Yeah. With this paper because it's thick. But once you get it moving, it's easy to move. Oh, oof. So I'm not sure what oh yeah, sorry, I got lost again. 10 minutes. Minutes. All right. So when you got in the car, it was 10 minutes. Pretty sure about that too. Right. So I didn't realize this was. So I'm going well far into what I had no idea was going to happen was happening, and before I could realize that it was just a probable cause hearing. I was like, "What? I mean, is this a bench?" I kept writing bench trial. Is this a bench trial? I mean, is this like? I didn't know Loudoun did bench trials for a murder. I'm like, it's like, I mean, there's no jury. She even said, "Oh, Lady Commonwealth, uh, can you tell the jurors what you saw or something of that effect?" I got it written down here. But it's like she was even ready for a jury, and when she said that, then something just clicked. I was like, "What?" And she said, and "No, I mean, can you tell the court?" And so, in that moment, I was like, "All right." I sat back and I was like, "Holy shit!" So we are now the jury of peers. So that was that point where I was like, okay, well, this isn't just this is already stuff that's already been in evidence. It's already and I'm like, I'm thinking about it, this is going pretty quick for I'm like, I'm literally jotting down the times as it's going. I'm like this happened at uh, you know when did I realize that this was a probable cause hearing. I'm literally like second witness 205. Then I go to cross. I didn't write down cross time. I think at that point I realized this was lady cop, lady detective. She stormed out of there. She was not happy with whatever proceeding that was. She didn't walk out of there like with her shoulders back like this. She was like head down, straight out. So that was my gut feeling. She didn't like the case. That was my gut right there. She was like, something's wrong with this case. It was like either too easy for her or something. But it's something about this case has her perturbed, because she doesn't seem like the type of person to just put her head down and walk out. Like, and I mean, it was I felt like, all right, so yeah, I'm sort of an empath, and for some reason, the walk speaks to me. This is not admissible in court, by the way. You're never going to hear this in court because it's a one-party state, and there's two parties going on in my mind. So, the day started out. That's where I should start with the beginning. Going to this court, I met the bailiff, asked him, "Hey, what's going on?" There was only one hearing going on, and yeah, so 9 o'clock rolls around, no court reporter. And they're like, "Oh, well, we thought it was going to be up there." And I talked to the deputy earlier, which I guess was not relayed to all parties involved, that they were going to be in an overflow, a room that wasn't being used for this one case, this one hearing. So there was tons of people, cases that this was probably going to take a little while. So they figured, well, let's do this first thing, get it out of the way, and then everybody can resume their business. Well, the court reporter did not get the memo. Both parties didn't get the memo, and then all of a sudden everybody started showing up. The boys up. Oh yeah, so she gets in, setting her mic up. There was. So we get to after 9 o'clock, no one shows. No Commonwealth, no defense. Did make a note. Yeah, the court was on overflow. Gonna have to remember my notes later on. They'll come back to me. So 9:05, Commonwealth shows followed by defense. So we just sat there waiting on the judge, because I guess whoever was escorting the convicted at this point didn't get the memo either that we were on overflow, so they didn't know where it was. In the bowels of the courthouse. He comes in. So the Commonwealth attorney, she's got some chops, Miss Baldwin. Recess. At that point, at that point I was like, because I got there early enough. I could have gone over to district and watched a bunch of traffic cases and things like that. But I was like, oh well, if I'll just wait a few minutes, get the lay of the land, see if there's a lot of people coming and going, and I'll go over to Circuit and see what's what over there. And so I found this one. It's like it was a one-off. It was, it's like maybe it's a unicorn. So I went chasing unicorns. And then so I walk around, so I keep getting more of the lay of the land, and just getting vibe of the general courthouse. Did a little. Oh yeah, I did a little drawing. So 9:52. Everybody comes back. They give some. It's like they were either crossing paperwork or somebody got lazy. Because came back after they had to explain that the time of sentencing was shifted because something happened. In any case, so I go through and I'm looking at, I'm writing down the times, 10 a.m., just to see like what's going on, making mental notes and trying to back it up by writing. I can't read. Oh yeah, mental notes. Oh yeah. Chip around the whole courthouse. Just thinking to myself, like who fits what, you know? Oh yeah, so I learned court etiquette. Some of these judges don't play around. Others seem to be very relaxed. It's a microcosm of an extension of high school, I guess. That's what they always say, right? Life is like high school. When you put everybody in the building and you got to go back there every day. I definitely got that high school. I mean, I didn't get any mean girls yet, but yeah. So my first thing was I got knocked for. Well, one of the things I got knocked for my cup in another courtroom. I thought because the one deputy or the one bailiff was like, oh, okay, it was uh, as long as it's empty, you're not gonna spill it or whatever, it's fine. So I thought, I'm just gonna carry my belongings with me. I'm not just gonna leave them somewhere where someone's gonna be like, is there's suspicious something or other. I'm not gonna be leaving a trail behind me. But as I was leaving, he said something about the cup. He was like, you could, there's like little spaces over there where you can just put it. I was like, okay, I'll do that. So then later I'm like looking around trying to go into different courtrooms, and I go to go into one courtroom, and the lady lawyer admonished me. She's like, no, you can't go in there. I was like, oh, do you know when they open? She's like, oh, no, you just can't go in there. She's like, oh, is it juvie? She's like, no, you just can't go in there. I was like, okay, why not? She's like, the judge locks his doors and he doesn't like it when people come and pull handles. I was like, oh, shit. I'm just nailed. But she was cool. Yeah, just bebopping around the court. I made drawings and stuff. So I'm like waiting in one. Oh yeah, this is the first one of the day. So I'm drawing the bench. I'm drawing, the defense and the Commonwealth and the lectern, whatever you call the podium. And I start taking note of the power dynamic. So we've got the judge, he's all the way up. And then over here, we've got his clerk. And I believe it was clerk, because I think over there was who we were waiting for, the reporter. And no. Maybe, no, yeah, nope, yep, because I think she sat next to or below her. Any case, no, that was, yep, that was the court reporter. That was the clerk. So in this case, to the judge's left was the was his clerk, and then so to the judge's right was his reporter. I thought there was someone else, I can't remember. Yeah, that's a cool ass drawing, right? Let's see if we can, and of course, this is the courtroom. Yeah, all the benches and everything. So my takeaway from this courtroom was that all these benches had painter's tape X's on them, and my thought was, is this like VIP seating? And so again, it was not 9/26/2024, and I didn't think at all about this rampant virus that was going around, and so I had a little bit of a rapport with the bailiff, and so I'm like, so is this reserved seating? And he's like, kinda. Those are the X's where you're not supposed to sit during COVID. I was like, what? And he said, yeah. So we taped all kinds of stuff off. He said people would just go past it. They would just move the tape and just go sit down. And he's like, what can I do? I was like, all right, what can you do? And then so we started getting into, so you're not supposed to sit on the X. You're supposed to sit next to the X, and then so on. And then I looked at the bench in front of me. I was like, so there's an X there, and I can touch the person right in front of me. That's not 6 feet. He's like, I just did what they told me. Something like that. But yeah, he was cool, dude. Cool dude. So I got bored with that one real quick. That was sentencing. I don't think the judge would have gone ham on him. Seemed like an upstanding person for however long. Something seemed like everybody freaking got screwballed in the head after 2022, 21, 22. And this fits the exact timeline. Doing great until freaking COVID. I just saw it myself. A witness to that. I mean, he was there was some, I think, statements entered. All right, so I got to another one where I just felt like the whole court was cozy. It was their either their club or their high school or whatever you want to call it. But all the lawyers there, they all know each other. One point there was one, I think it was a defense attorney that said, "Oh, hey, you're still here." And he's like, "Yeah, it's my last day." That judge gave a boom, in my opinion. So the defendant was originally came here illegally in like 92 or 93. 1992 or 1993. And so uh, when he gets here, he builds a life over 30 years from Peru. He comes over here from Peru, and a 30-year lifetime I saw in the court today. It was, I mean, from what I could tell, his I heard a couple family members that he raised. They seemed very solid. I was like, well, I mean, I think one said they got here at a very early age, and but her parents were illegal, and at one point, and I'm going to say the kid. I'm not talking about the defendant, but the kid's father was the son of the defendant. She says, my dad emigrated to Venezuela for a better paying job. It's like, when was that? It was, I think she said 16 at the time. She looked maybe mid-20s. But that floored me. So that was sounds like it was, no, I can't be right. Anyway, I'm hearing stuff, and they're not always easy to hear. You have a very low murmur in some courtrooms where other courtrooms, silence. Like when the judge comes in, all rise. Everybody's like, "Ooh." You see the lawyers pop up. There was one. I think it was that same judge with the Peruvian dad, or uncle, or cousin, brother. Anyway, that one. The lawyer, his defense lawyer, was arguing that because of the crime he committed was not actually harmful, and was not, he was part of it. He got wrapped up in a sting, so there was no participants other than him with a computer and some probably 26-year-old tech guy learning how to do a sting. But his defense was, he's old, he's in poor health, and he should be shipped back to Peru, deported back to Peru, so we can be with his. And the defense lawyer was pretty serious. He was like, he's got cousins and brothers and sisters and all family. He's got a whole support system waiting for him back there. And I was like, well, okay. So I'm thinking to myself at the time, so he comes over here, he raises a generation, and they reward him by letting him go home and live, into retirement. And then the closing statement, of course, it was through a translator. I bet he understands English, but it's not his 30 years here preferred way to express, those like little idiosyncrasies you can't just translate. And the translator did miss a couple of them. It was funny. But one thing that she did translate, which I think she got spot on, was So while he's, would you like to say something, before I give your sentence? He says something along the lines of, I don't think I'm going to live much longer if I stay here. Please let me go home. They have health care that is beneficial, unlike here. I was like, oh man. I mean, this is from this guy's mouth. They have better health care in Venezuela or Peru than he can get here. It's like, slam, oof. That's all part of that same wave that brought us to this point, I guess. Anyway, I'm bebopping. Oh yeah. On the end of that note, the judge slammed. It was I think it's 20 years, indefinite probation, 10 years good behavior on top of after he gets out of 20 years. If basically when he was wrapping it up, he said, so if unless you get deported, this is what's going to happen to you. And so the defense lawyer says, so you mean that if he comes back into the country illegally, that he's going to have all these charges reinstated from the time of whenever he comes back in? Let's say he's coming to see graduation or a wedding or something, and he wants to come back for that. He can't come back for that. So the defense lawyer asks, you mean illegally, Your Honor? He says, did I say illegally? Did you hear those words come out of my mouth? I said, come back into this country. Don't step foot into this country. Lawyer's just like, okay, don't ever come back here. Bebopping. Yeah, so I'm writing out like all these times down as I'm going. Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of his witnesses, she walked out in tears. Scheduling. Jumped in another room. Yeah, weird courtroom. Different things are situated on different walls. There's a Magna Carta on one wall. Normally you'll see a clock on, in view of, let's see, you just turn left, you see the clock. Turn right, you see the clock. Look forward, you see the clock on either side of the room. So they look here, they can look up there, see the clock. Everybody sees the clock. I'm like, looking around, like, where's the clock? Where's the clock? Which one? I think I wrote the number down wrong. So I'm like looking towards the exit, like maybe I should go outside and look at the clock, because I got you can't have electronics in there. I mean, I don't have a digital watch. I don't want a digital watch. I've got a pocket watch. And, you've got to wind the thing every now and then. So I'm checking to see if it's keeping time. Because, in court, we want to make sure it's, timed up. And so I was going to go out and check the time. And I look up. The clock's up there. I'm like, I can't see that. I can't do that. Oddities. That's what I was doing. I was, court watching. checking the layout, checking to see what's going on. How our tax dollars spent. What's the vibe of the are they being relentless up in here? Are they what's the court system doing? I'm just going to see what's going on and checking out little things. Each courtroom has its little oddities. Sometimes the clerk is here, but it's always power structure: the judge, clerk, reporter. It's do. I think I made a little drawing of that somewhere here. So I did a little drawing of the stairs. I'm just sitting there on the bench, looking downstairs. So I'm sitting here going like this. Just downstairs. And then so I get there a little early to I have some bebopping around, like, oh yeah, this is that courtroom that did this. So I got finished, and so circuit court was pretty much done for lunch at 11:40. Was the last I really kind of saw anybody just kind of like milling about. So went out to get a bite to eat and a smoke, an apple, and there's a little restaurant like right near there, and they have the I haven't had a Coca-Cola in so long that I'm like I just don't have the taste for it anymore. But they had the original recipe Mexican Coke, so I couldn't pass that up. I'm like, it's my day off. I'm gonna enjoy Coke. So good. So I got a little. So most district starts at 1. So at least 15 minutes. So I start doing a little sketch. The courtroom doors and benches, the waiting area outside. I didn't know how important this waiting area was going to be until later. So, so 12:45. I started a little sketch. I started a sketch 12:45. And then finished it around 12:55. So 10 minutes. Sitting there just making a little drawing. So I'm looking back and forth at both the doors. So I'd already gone through in my drawing. There's these flat screen TVs that have the docket on them. Who's there? Who's representing them? What time it starts? What courtroom they're in? Simple. Find your last name. Find the room. There's the time. That's where you go. I don't think they could make it any more simple than that. So so I had been in both courtrooms before, and I came up with an opinion of both of them. There's this really cool bailiff in B. She's got a real sense of humor. She's badass. I think I wrote that in here, badass. And so when so here's the ripple effect. The ripple effect was that court reporter that got put into the overflow room, that rolled the whole day for her. And I think a lot of court reporters somehow. Everybody's trying to fill in somewhere. And, you know, well, it was Three Stooges. It was a debacle. It was a debacle. So there's no court reporter. And I'm like, dun, dun, dun. So, courtroom B starts because the court reporter got there. And so I'm looking at the judge, court reporters to the right. Awesome lady, bailiff. She's just like, yeah, cool. We got this. Inspired confidence. I think I wrote that here. Inspired confidence for a reason. Cool and collected. And then I gave her a check plus. 100%. Oh yeah, some lady barged in, I think, to argue a case briefly. She's like, I need to see it right now. That happened. I'm not sure if that was that one I was referencing. But yeah, so there was one judge earlier on that admonished the lawyer in front of him, the defense. So the Commonwealth was standing while they were going through some sort of motion, and the defense was sitting while the Commonwealth was speaking because he was just waiting his turn. And he sat there all relaxed. And so the judge asked him something, and he started to reply. And he said, "You'll stand to address this court." Like, oh, shit. Completely threw him off. And now I'm standing. These are little observations. That's just why I go in there. I'm not, I mean, the heartthrob story with the Peruvian father or father figure. I mean, it was like seven kids he raised, and it seemed to me that the whole family was upstanding. All the parents. I mean, there's a bunch of parents there. So I think that's the only really one that actually stood out for me was that story. So, all right. So I guess I'm in B, and that starts up. Something got not qualified. Something about the council. Maybe, yeah, he made too much or something. I don't remember. Okay, so this judge, she's got her high seat than the clerk to her right. I hadn't really paid attention to the court reporter yet. So then, 1:30. That's when a large group of people just came in. And this whole time, I'm just sitting there, I'm kind of like on the edge of the bench, It was close to the aisle where, if I get bored, I can just skip out. But then a large group of people come in. I'm like, so, okay, well, maybe there's going to be multiple cases that just run and run and run. And so I scoot down. I'm like, okay, I'm in it for the long haul. Let's check this out, see what's going on. And that's really when it so we had 2 officers escort him in. A couple witnesses came in. Started talking about where they were going, what they were doing. Bunch of kids. Yeah. So it's public record. I'm not calling anybody out. But by the end of that, I think you may have a little bit more want to maybe at least ask a lot of questions. I think more questions than I heard asked today. This probable cause, I think, was for shit. I had reasonable doubt. As soon as there's only 2 eyewitnesses, that just gets my thing going like that. What? I mean, there's only 2 eyewitnesses. One that supposedly did it, and then the other one that didn't do it. Okay. That just gets me going. Yeah. This was a lazy court. The defense sat there, talked to the judge the whole time. Just kind of like rocking in his chair. Chill. Yeah, judge. I mean, that was the defense. And this one, the Commonwealth. She was trying to make her case, and I think it was failing, but she was really trying. I think she was doing the best she could for I think the case she was given. Somebody said shit. There was some other word. There was a fuck in there somewhere. So yeah, that's when I think. So I didn't really write down a lot of the details, but the Detective Mitchell, the lady detective who caught the case. I think I said her earlier. She stormed out of there. Yeah, that's one of the things I did write down. Yeah. So what got me was the family. I mean, so first off, I didn't like that there's only two witnesses. From there, something was off about each witness. Number one, 2 were friends. Number 2, these 2 knew each other. So this one didn't know that one. This one knew that one. these two were best friends. These two were best friends, or at least, close of some sorts. I'm not sure. I didn't really, that was just my assumption, I guess. But these two stated, or at least the witness today stated, they were best friends. They knew each other since they grew up together. And then, so the one who ran out of the car, for some reason, didn't say why he jumped out of the car. Because he was asked, "Do you smell weed? Did you see any weed?" No. So for some reason, he just jumps out of the car, runs away. 4 or 5 steps later, he hears a single pow. And so it just leaves these two guys who know each other, or at least cool with each other, some sort of more than an acquaintance from his testimony. So, yeah. Right there, reasonable doubt starts to go up like this. And the old ticker starts to kick. And as I'm winding my clock, my little pocket watch, I smelled what Patrick Campbell was putting out, the third party defense, and he had was trying to channel AJ, and the Commonwealth was trying to channel Lally, and he did something where he was trying to get to that third party defense, and she wasn't having none of it. And then at some point she says, "So what, if anything, do you remember about this?" Something to that effect. I know. I think I wrote it down here. I was like, "Oh, burn!" He's doing the AJ, and she's lallying him. Oh, they got something going on. Oh yeah, I wrote that. "Do stand when addressing the court" is how I wrote it from my memory at that exact moment. That's why you take notes, because I remembered it better when I took my notes, and now I'm reading it back to myself and going through. Oh yeah, that's what I was. I think I said something else along those lines, but that is what I said because I wrote it down at the time when I was exactly thinking about it in that moment. And when I reference, would you like to reference your notes? Yes, I would. Please, let me reference my notes. I've got them right here. Where are we now? You've read them, so which page are we on? Which page? What does it say at the top of that page? And how far down are we going? Right? Boom. Ooh. Yeah, this is a stream of conscience. It's not my conscience. It's my conscience talking. Yeah, so there it is. So right there. Third party defense. They didn't see any weed that day. No, he didn't see any weed that day. Oh no, they didn't have any. They didn't have any weed that day. Didn't see any weed during the purchase, so that was him. There was no stink of the weed in the car. Next witness. There we go. I just made note to self again. Everyone is so young. And I heard it. I thought Melanie Little. She says, and that's entered the chat. This is what, if anything, entered the court? Because she said, the second witness, what, if anything, did you observe? Yeah, so here we go. So apparently during the struggle, the bag gets ripped and popcorn. So I go to every single evidence, so I can't remember. I had to have been Pulp Fiction that got me thinking about it, but I know there was another like Goodfellas or Godfathers or something like that said, don't ever do it inside the car. You can never get a car clean, never, ever. Once you do it in a car, the car is done. You got to burn it. And so I was thinking, if they wanted, not if they wanted to, but I guess what they should have done is taken every single little bit of weed, done a testing for gunshot residue, right? I mean, how many gunshot residue tests were there? Were there any? I didn't hear any evidence of that today. I didn't hear any testimony of that today, so I have no idea. It's going to be probably after the grand jury that we hear anything like that if it doesn't get squashed before then. I mean, squashed. Like, if Loudoun turns into Leesburg, Courthouse turns into Free Care and Reed, this is the case to do it. I swear, because I don't think this kid did it, and that I know that would mean that another person did it. My theory on that, what's working in my head, is so the second witness says, so he's sitting, RASHAUN's sitting behind me, right? Let's see. And so there's a headrest. And I swear I thought I heard the second witness say he saw a black gun or firearm, something to that effect, pistol, sticking through the headrest at the decedent. If it's through the headrest, 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to pull it out of the headrest in a car. I mean, this isn't Carfu. What do they call it? Carjitsu? Kung Fu in a car? Jiu-Jitsu in a car? Carjitsu? This isn't that. So if I'm Detective Mitchell and I hear the gun sticking through the headrest, that would lead me to assume that it was a neck shot, headshot. At that point, something in the brain anywhere up there, something in the brain is stunned. It takes more than something like animal instinct to put the car in drive and then open the car door and roll out. No, that's the pirouette. That's the pirouette. Or is it more likely, which I had never heard today in testimony, that the best friend, maybe not the best friend, but the acquaintance of the decedent at the very minimum, and you You're not buying pounds of weed and having some random dude show up in your house to help you come out and, distribute it. Right? Got some, hey, I'm gonna go to right there in Leesburg. You drive by it every day, 7-Eleven, all them guys sitting there. Hey, come help me, sling some hash. Now, you know that guy. You know that guy well. And he's done it before. If he's doing it now, it's not the first time, because the first time is always like, hey, man, you want to roll with me? I'm going to go hook up a bud. I got an eighth or something, right? Something like that. Not, hey, I got, what did I write down? I wrote down the numbers too. I was like, how much is this stuff nowadays? Like, it sounds a lot cheaper than when I used to toke the reefer, and that was 17 years ago now. Sheesh. Okay, here we go. So, of course, they back the car in. How much is a half ounce of weed? $100. So, half ounce. That's what I wrote. Half ounce, $100. It's like, depending on what you get. See, I remember heard a qualifier in there. Depending on like what you look for. When he's like, all right, man, what you looking for? Hey, defendant's lawyer, you want some weed? Oof. Oh. So I look for little tells, little things, little mannerisms or something that just says I'm being dishonest, and saying 3 times is one of them. And I've seen it again and again. Now I saw that that FBI guy or ex-FBI guy, or he's done, he's not the human lie detector, but he looks through and analyzes. He's like, oh, there we go, 3 again. Wait till he gets a hold of this little gem. If this ever makes it, I mean, it should. This should be okay. How much was the? There's something that's like $600. He says a half pound, $600. Half ounce, $100. So 1 ounce, 200. Okay. Buy in bulk. All right. So the price of weed, street weed, half ounce, 100. Half pound, 600. I mean, I wasn't a huge. I mean, once I had a real job, like actual, pay stubs and that sort of thing. $600. I remember thinking about those things back then. Would last me, I would say, a year and a half, 2 years, or a half pound. I mean, I'd have to get like a lot of little dry. I used to think about that. It's like, and if I can get, if I don't have to, pay a car payment, and then of course, I was like, all right, so I just went out and got a vehicle. It's a pretty badass Bronco, chop. It was a white Bronco, 95, 351 Windsor, chop. Tinted windows. But yeah, as soon as I bought that thing, it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna have a down payment. I'm not gonna have to worry about driving around or trying to find a ride and give them $20. Get a we used to call it get a hat. Let's get a hat. Yep. Anyway, that's when it was like, lock you up, throw away the key kind of stuff. And back then it was shady. North Carey Street, Baltimore. I mean, yeah, there was plywood on the buildings, but there was people in there. And if you caught them on the right night, they weren't. It's like getting that last rack of ribs. It's when they're gone, pick something else. So yeah, it's dangerous shit. I held a gunpoint. That was an interesting one. Yeah, so there's two people that knew about what we were doing, where we were going, what we were driving. One was the person I was with, and one was the person that we were going to. That was it. And I knew the person who we were going to was set up the connection by that was the thing. It was a connection, person. And then once you had a connection, and they were, then you were good for a while, right? You're good for a while. But now, I think it was Youngkin. Governor Youngkin signed some order that legal marijuana, medical marijuana, and they've got dispensaries. You see them, Sterling. There's one in Fairfax. What do they call it? Beyond Zone or something. I don't know, but they're legal dispensaries. You get a card. I think the cost of the card is like $100, right? So if you go there, you're like, how do I set it up? You show them you're of age. It was 18, 21, 25. You see, be a little high. 21. It's like going to buy beer. Of course, you're going to have kids who are like, hey, can you buy me beer? But the same things with beer are not really around yet, because beer is regulated, it's, taxed and all that. You don't have to worry about a cash only business, worry about ever getting fucked with by the IRS. So getting to the point of that legal aspect of it is that it is legal here at that time. This was only in February. Remember, we were talking about 6 months ago. It was legal. I saw those dispensaries pop up years ago, at least years ago. I mean, since whenever, right after whatever Virginia bill passed, making medical marijuana okay. It's like they were like food box store, Blockbuster. It's like Blockbuster pops up, right? Blockbusters everywhere. It's like, as soon as Blockbuster's like, hey man, we're gonna take your movie one step above Errol's. How's that? Like, oh, okay. Do you still have that little back room? Start popping up everywhere. Boom, 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 boom. And then you go in there and it's legit. They have pharmacists on site. They can, recommend, hey, are you just looking to reduce stress or whatever, And to get the license, you have a 10-minute conversation with a licensed doctor here in Virginia. You know, it's not that difficult to get legal weed, medical marijuana. It's not that difficult. I ran out of water. I had nothing else to drink. Think about that for a second while I go. Yeah, you're going to be able to, because I'm not uploading this into anything but a private. So I gave it to you. I'm giving you my insight, my conundrum, and it's going to go on. It's going to go back. Eat peace smoke. Eat peace smoke. Eat peace smoke. Just quick smoke. So, had to get the boy up and moving. Again. Yeah. Yeah, the tapping I heard earlier was the boy eating a banana. Mm. 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 Is there a way we can put like a stream of video in here? I thought about that when I left. How about manage was manage? Can't do that. Can't do that. How about that word? Don't fall out. Took me all this time to figure out just how to start a stream. I had like 40 bazillion tries. Trying to share my stream. I can make a serious time work. Just keep sharing. Just keep sharing. Back through time up again. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. I don't mind boring. What's wrong with boring? Too much excitement. It's back to the heart. Moderation activity? Yeah. You can decide not to show the mods. Moderation activity will not be shown. What if that's like say goodbye to the boys. Yeah, I can't. I don't know if I can engage your audience. Poll. How do I emoji myself? Purple face crying. Yeah. Oh, look at me. I've got a yellow thing. It's yellow, I think. Like in heart. Oh, yeah. Turkey and Swiss on a tortilla. All right. Where did I leave off? Legal weed or oh yeah. Then I start out my day. So I pretty much I didn't sleep. I can't remember the last time I slept. I didn't sleep last night. I didn't sleep the night before. Yeah, so I think the last time I was actually asleep. Oh, I had a pretty cool dream then too. All right, so I was watching this show. I got pretty deep into it. Good Girls. It's a TV show. Got a lot of actresses that I guess they're just recycled into a bigger show because they've done so many shows and they're recognizable. And maybe you like them in that movie, the Scary Movie. Oh, I did the Scary Movie. I think that was probably. Oh, the girl from Parenthood. She was in there. She was good. So nice hell. Nothing to see, nothing to see. Yeah. All right, I need a break from talking about this for a minute before I get into the legal weed and why I think this kid is culpable. At the very minimum, if he wasn't the one who actually had the gun, being his little sidekick, because nobody knew where the gun was, and RASHAUN, I think it was testified to, hadn't been seen by his friend for 6 months up until the day before. I think the 12th, he said he got in from wherever he was. And so they hung out for the next couple of days. But he hadn't seen him for 6 months. So I don't know where this, it was well known that Rashad was carrying a gun. I didn't hear that in any of the testimony. I didn't hear that it was well known. I think it was actually quite the opposite. No, I never saw him with a gun. And of course, things that are stricken from the record, that you're never going to hear about in court, is that there were guns out, I think, in the place where this guy was going to pick up the decedent. If this is the case, I don't know how you open a door and roll out while putting it in drive so that the car rolls forward to hit another car. And as it's rolling forward, you're just sitting there stunned. So roll out. I'm stunned. Hit a car. Now I'm more stunned. But you have the wherewithal to see the two guys who were in the back seat taking off that way. So because they're taking off that way and your friend is back there on the ground, that means, from what I understand from the testimony, is that he took off that way. He didn't see those guys run off and think there's no longer a threat here because it was only 4 of us. Now it's -1, and that leaves me, and those 2 are hightailing out of here. They don't want to have anything to do with what's going on there. They're gone. There's no longer a threat here. But my friend is right there. That just, I heard a shot. He rolls out, roll down, and hit a car, run away. From what I understand, that from what I heard, is that he called his roommate while he's going that way to tell her what happened. Her, I did hear her, and to have her call 911. I know kids are stupid, and I keep calling them kids, and that's what they are. They're kids. But in situational awareness, fight or flight, whatever the thing is, situational awareness tells me there's no more threat. I'm not going to run away and not call 911, which is, I mean, I think most phones have like, if you can make a call, there's like, hit that button and then hit the one more button to do, somebody in my contact call, or just maybe scroll through the contact. So maybe he didn't have to scroll through the contact to talk to the roommate because she was the last person he talked to before this happened. A lot of questions. Celebrate data. Where's the celebrate data? Where's the download of all his phone, her phone? Of course, the GSR should be all over the car, and every single swab will test positive, not for the amount of GSR, but that it's positive. Everybody's hands in a confined spot for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shot. Roll out. Fall out. Back out. Again. Which way? The other way. Roll out. So the cars butt in to the spot. You assume when you're backing straight in, you're not going to turn the wheel unless you are used to driving a clutch, and you may have some other concern besides your clutch popping out and your emergency brake going. But in a small car, I didn't hear manual. You would back in and leave your wheel in that position so that you can leave. So he didn't check on his friend, took off, called his roommate, girl roommate, had her call 911. I didn't hear any of that testimony yet, so that's going to be interesting. But number one, reasonable doubt. Nobody saw it but the two witnesses. One of the two witnesses knows, obviously, that legal weed is some sort of availability, and there's no real laws like there are with alcohol. Like, there's no sign there that says if you buy alcohol for a minor, it's your license is revoked and that sort of thing. I mean, you see those signs, don't buy alcohol for minors. Not the big X. And speaking of which, working on the game, working on the chain gang, boop, boop, doo, doo, doo. We're making a little background music at least. Oblivious Benson. Late Night in Vegas. Let's see. Judge Joe Brown. Fed on knees. Jeez, I've been watching too many of these legal cases. See who's live. Oblivious Benson in Vegas. Mel Pandora's Hollywood Satanists Week. Hollywood Satanists, Bohemian Grove. Oh, geez. Not going there. Chicago's Morning Answer. The Morning Answer. Brian Craig. Because Trump channel. Dr. Sax Love. Let's see what's going on with Dr. Sax Love. This is yeah. Dr. Sax Love. Yeah. Dr. Sax Love. Yes, inspirational fly. I see you. All right. Covered drug dealing scum. And that I know exactly what that is. Been there. But did I get over the part where everybody thought it was fake weed in the car? Or at least apparently RASHAUN thought it was fake. And his best friend for life didn't smell weed, didn't see weed, never saw a big bag being held like this. You know, what got him to hightail it out of that car in the first place to get 4 steps? I mean, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. He said steps. He didn't say he was running. He said he was going away, like back to his back to mom's car. I do believe it was RASHAUN's mom's car, and I was in a car with a friend in high school. Friend, just a kid I went to high school with. Took his dad's car. It was like Christmas Eve. I do recall. I think it was Christmas Eve, and we spun that thing like a top on Falls Road, going about 125 miles an hour around a curve. Ended up with it was Christmas Eve. Ended up with the rear end of the Camry. It was 93, brand new 93 Camry. And it was a manual. Rear end of that trunk in a massive oak tree. Massive. And the irony of why that tree didn't cut straight through the vehicle and go all the way to the engine. Like hot knife to butter. Is the kid I went to high school with, Christmas present was in the trunk. Guess what his Christmas present was? Barbell, all new weights. Barbell was right across the back of the back seat of that Camry, and it was bent just like this. Just bent. So yeah. Hide your keys, Mama. You have to beat them off with a stick. But yeah, kids do stupid things. You know, it's Valentine's Day. My thought was, you know, hey, we didn't have any weed. We want to go get weed. Was, hey, it's Valentine's Day. You know, we got this hottie around the corner, and you know, we want to go try to, you know, schmooze our way in. Hey, what? Yeah, man. So, how you doing tonight? How you doing? A little bit of that. How's it going? That was my first thought. We didn't have any weed, so we were just gonna go get some. It was like, yeah, we need to score, man. Got these chicks on the hook. Again, freaking the weed could have been procured fairly simply, mostly legally, but now nobody's gonna mess with you. I mean, you look well over 21 to me. You know, I wouldn't come up and be like, hey, put that out. Are you supposed to have that? Now, because it's legal here, nobody's gonna question you. You're in your own home. Nobody's gonna question you. It's just the procurement, getting it. Oh yeah, so I was in the courthouse today. Came across this little kiosk, one of these little touchscreen things. My stupid cat brain saw this thing. I was like, oh, let's see what's going on here. I'll start playing around a little bit. Let's see, when's lunch? This was during lunch, right? Right before lunch? Oh, yeah. Oh. Is that before lunch? I think I put it somewhere in the margins, maybe. Let's go get a drink at some point. It was the Office of Fictitious Business. How to apply for, I can't find it in here, but I remembered it was how to apply for the fictitious business license. Okay. You give your fake money to start a fake company to make more fake money. Oh, our court system's so fucked, man. I mean, so what my thought is that they never, just like at the Camry, they never thought anybody else was a suspect. Because as soon as they found their suspect, he was going to get some serious charges. Right? I mean, I wouldn't think that. I mean, I wouldn't think conspiracy like that, but this is going to give Loud a black eye. It really is, especially on the weed thing. If kids think that they need to um, carry guns to go get a flower, give me your flower, man. Give me your flower. Give me your flower now. Give me flower. That's not real flower. Dr. Sex Love. So, if you're such good friends, you're sitting in the back seat. You sit in the back seat. You're sitting up here. You're such a good friend. Because he felt comfortable because these guys knew each other, right? You're so cool. He didn't say, "Hey, you know what? You can get this stuff legally, and you might be able to find a better product." And it might take an hour or two. All you have to do is go online. You got your ID, right? Yeah, I got my ID. So your buddy's got his ID, right? Yeah, he's got his ID. Well, he can get enough for both of you. Just and then shit, you get your new hookup and it's sitting there, it's stable. You don't have to go to a freaking car sitting in the meadows. I don't know if I can bring myself to go that far back on this one, but I think it will. So that Meadows is where my wife used to actually drive her school bus route. And so post-COVID, there was an element there that scared her. Now, at the time, she wouldn't tell me which stop it was, what scared her, or what, but I knew when she got home from not running a run that she was scared. Because she doesn't miss a run. It's not like her. So I knew something was up. She was acting dodgy and I prodded her on it. She finally got to say, well, something happened. And she wouldn't say exactly what, and then finally she said, "Oh no, it was a dog," or she was scared of the dog. It took her a long time to come up with I was scared of a dog. I'll tell you that. So I couldn't tell which one it was, but I made a stink of it. I did it. Called the sheriff's department. I said, "My wife's scared of something on her route. Something spooked her pretty bad." They came and talked to me, and I was like, finally I got somebody who was on the line, I guess the next morning. And he's like, I said, you guys have the richest freaking department in, I think Northern Virginia, but I think all of Virginia. And one of the richest counties in, I think, the county in the United States, I think. You should have patrol cars, even dummy cars, something with a camera. During, drive around, put up a camera at such and such a time. So when our kids get off the bus, drive that same route back, take the camera off, do it in cooperation with public schools. They ran a freaking a live shooter test in the middle school right here. Don't tell me we're not gonna we're gonna get upset of putting a camera in an open public space to record any possible incidents. And of course, it's like, oh yeah, this is the program we set up. We set them out. Keep the footage 48 hours. We loop it. If there's any incident, we can go back to that, check out the incident, flag what happened in that incident, If it wasn't anything serious, there's a flag there. Something happened. You know, it's not freaking rocket scientists, right? Should I even go into COVID at this point, which led up to all this? Nah. Why would I go into COVID at this point? It screwed up our kids for freaking 2 years in this area. You know, I started to become convinced the only reason they let them go back to school is because the parents were looking over their shoulders at what the kids were learning online. I mean, numerous incidents, like a teacher who's like, what do you see here? And the students like, because they're stick figures, like holding hands or something. I see what appears to be representatives of two people holding hands, thinking he's all smart, right? Like representatives of what appears to be. Teacher comes back, he's like, no, that's not what that is. He's like, well, it's not two people holding hands, because that would mean that it would look more like this rather than like stick figures holding hands, which is what the drawing was. So it looked like two people. It appeared to be representative of what two people holding hands looks like. That's what it looks like. Nope. And parents started looking over their kids' shoulders. They started hearing these. That's not real. And then, of course, kids are on their computers at their house. They're gonna figure out a way to download whatever they're watching. Maybe you have to step out of class. I'll record it, watch it later. It's an honest thing to do. Watch it later. You gotta step away. This whole time, kids, they weren't getting outside, getting vitamin D from the sun. They weren't, getting exposure. They weren't working out in confined spaces. They couldn't interact with each other. Mental health exploded. Domestics jumped off. Where there wasn't a lot of alcohol in the household before, ABC had a huge spike in alcohol sales during that time. It was like the only store there's one shopping center right up here, right off Fort Evans, right? The only thing left after COVID, the CC's left. Can't recall what else was there, but there was like the Five and Dime and Jersey Mike's. I think maybe it was Jersey Mike's. I think at that point, because the other one in Vienna shut down, and the ABC store. Wide open. I don't think I ever recalled seeing shopping carts at the ABC more than maybe once before that. So all this alcohol in the house, parents banging heads, they can't get anywhere, stuck. And so I think at the time, 19, so they would have been 2020 to 2021, so minus 14, 15, 16 for all these kids. The whole lot, I think the whole lot of them were right around the same age. I keep calling them kids because that sort of thing stunts emotional growth. high impact anxiety. It's just it's not as debilitating or forever, but it was life changing. I mean, it definitely changed their lives, not in a positive way, but it changed it in ways that 15-year-olds who are now 40 somethings, 50, can't even understand, because we didn't have all this. I mean, it was social media was what? We had a beeper, right? If we were lucky, we had a beeper. I mean, it's like, you got a beeper? All right. Well, here's some extra quarters so you can call me from. That was when you could catch the beep. Where's the payphone? That was going to be closer. Won't take you too far out of my way. And so, as soon as you get there, you check the coin return slot, see if you get a free call. And now they're like, I had to look for it. I was like, where? Say so? What? Yeah. You're talking about the inside trash, or do you mean like taking from outside to the curb? I don't know what day it is. What day is it? But no, this Loudoun debacle. Because back then when I raised the stink, I didn't do nothing. The exact place where she had her incident, and she was afraid for her life and career. Scared for her life. Scared if she told anybody, they because there's nobody else to do the job. Heaven forbid they put her on, paid leave while they investigate. It didn't happen to the kids. It happened to her. Right? Those stupid cameras on the bus are supposed to catch everything. She asked them to have them pull the tape. Never got pulled. They said, "Oh, we don't know what you're talking about. We don't know what you're talking about." So just let it go. Stop driving the afternoon run where she had to go to that. Future murder hole. Thanks, Loudoun County Public Schools system. See the web? Are you starting to see the web yet? Starting to see it? Man, nobody sees it. Why is that? Or are y'all just not saying anything? Because I'm afraid to actually post this right now, live, without reviewing it and going, should I post that? If I post it, someone in Loudoun schools will see it. Maybe even possibly make a counter accusation that she didn't say anything. Oh, well, the records aren't there. Right? But I made a stink of it pretty much right away, within days, to the sheriff's office. So there's record of that. And I made a big stink. Nobody's going to forget that. So I'm sure there was multiple incident reports because I talked to multiple different people on that. And I'm convinced COVID gave her cancer. Having to get that shot, she was perfectly healthy, fine before that. She had broken her leg once. She was chipper. She was, we were all having a little bit of stress, but to go back to work, to go get attacked by whatever happened in Ashburn Meadows that day, to go back to work, to have that happen to her, she had to get 2 of them. She was put at the head of the line so she could be transportation, necessity worker. So to get back to work or lose a job, first one I thought she was going to die. She came home, couldn't move the arm, and we need to get you to see a doctor. We need to get you to see a doctor now. I said, no, these effects are supposed to be normal. Got my own, you Loudoun. Now RASHAUN's all jammed up. You don't have a overwhelming satisfaction to prove beyond a reasonable doubt the state's burden or the Commonwealth's burden of proof. You got a freaking theory that you came up with because one kid who ran away from his dying buddy was still alive because he saw him. He just saw him. You don't just instantly pop. Unless it's a headshot, but if it's a headshot, you instantly pop. You're not opening the door, putting in the car and drive, and falling out. That's not a thing that would happen. So yes, he ran away from his dying buddy. I'm sorry, I'm staying alive. I know I don't dance for music anymore. The 80s parents dance. His mental health broke down during COVID, which is why they all wanted weed, because they all had nothing to do during COVID, so they all found something to do. Smoke weed, because you're at home, you ain't got to go out and do nothing. You're home, you smoke weed. Hey, man, nice way to kill some freaking time, right? And then, your instincts, you want to get out of the house, so it's like, oh, hey, I'll go to the store for you, something like that, which gets you out of the house so you can, go for a 15-year-old. I would definitely go get groceries and walk there if I had to stay in the house the rest of the day afterwards. So if I'm in the house, I'm smoking through weed. If you're keeping me here, you treat me like a grown up. I'm that grown up. Stunted, arrested development because COVID. He's scared of his parents. He's been home this whole time. He doesn't want to be confined again. Of course, he doesn't want to be confined again. Confined at home sucks. Imagine being confined in a prison cell. Yeah, I'm gonna run, concoct some story that I didn't accidentally, while they're haggling about the price, say, hey, either pay it, take the shit, get out. Oops. Jump out. Yeah, I saw you, Patrick. Patrick. I already forgot your name. Freaking Ryan. Camp Ball. I see you, man. Taking all the family's money. For what? What you did today was a freaking joke. You should have been ready for every single one of those objections. Every single one of those objections. As soon as you started leading in down a certain road, you should be ready for every single one of those objections. Just a map. That's what the pay is for. It's like that game, Choose Your Own Adventure. You should have had 2 Choose Your Own Adventure books. Ready at all times. For every single question that you get an objection to. It's just sad. Anyway, my prayers go out to the family. RASHAUN. I didn't know any of your names. I didn't listen to any names. The only name that stuck with me was RASHAUN. And but I felt the vibe. I felt the vibe of the family. Great kids. That's how you judge families, by kids. Even if it is, yeah, sure. Kids, you're going to be on your behavior today like we're going to church. Right there, even if that's why they were so well behaved, that means they're well behaved in church. And I mean, even if that is a threat of, it didn't look like they were harmed today. Every now and then, see one turn around and smile. One fell asleep. Asking some stranger while they're all surrounding them, "Can I borrow your pen?" I thought she was asking if, like, the kid wanted to draw him a book. So I'm like, I'm about to go look at one of my drawings, see if I can, and she's like, "Can I borrow your pen?" I'm like, not pen. She's like, can I borrow your drawing? I think she said drawing. Can I borrow your drawing? And I'm like, yeah. I thought she was asking for the kid, and she's like, no, because I've got tinnitus and diminished hearing, so I wasn't looking at the lips as she was saying it. So, but I thought she said drawing something or other, and so I was like, oh, she wants the pen. She wants to make a note. So I'm like, oh, which color? 3 colors. That's in some strangers giving back. It's just the vibe that just fits with that family. There's no qualms about asking some perfect stranger. It sticks out like a sore thumb. He's just sitting there doodling away. I mean, I don't know if they even comprehended. I was just there, just watching. Like I'm watching like a YouTube channel. It's not a YouTube channel, but like the LawTube channel. The people who watch actual court cases that are publicized and streamed. And for me, it's just an education. Like I said, how's that lawyer interact with that lawyer? How's that judge treat his? That's what I went. That's what I went there to see. our legal system in action. And I looked at very few faces. I don't recall um, a full face of anybody, really. Just sit there, listen as best I can. The hearing I got, I hear tone, how somebody's saying something, the amount of times they repeat a phrase. Fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. That stuck out for me. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh. This is going to be one of those. That's when I stopped drawing, and I was like, wait a second. At first, I didn't even realize. I don't know. I can't recall how long it took me to figure out that this was actually a murder trial, much less, or part of a murder trial, much less the prelim for a grand jury probable cause hearing. It took me a while to figure that out. It took me a while. It usually takes me a while to figure out exactly what the crime is if I'm not listening. Like at the very, very beginning, like this is what you're charged with or whatever. It usually takes me a while to figure that out. Oh, but once that got me, I was like, oh, this is freaking Karen Reed comes Loudoun. There's some place I wrote in here. How many was on each screen for each courtroom? Right at the beginning. If I recall, there was like 6 or 7 on the B docket, and I think like 16 or something like that on the C docket. I mean, that's the sort of thing that was exciting me to, like, how many people are in this one? Why are there so many people on that one? I could go in there, and I went in there, and it was a snooze fest. I was like, no, nothing's going to go on here. I didn't care for the judge. The courtroom was just wasn't feeling it. Yep, there it is, exactly right. So, back to watching district court at 12:45, courts B and court C. I'm recalling here what the last time I was there, that the court B had the nice lady bailiff last time. And I think as soon as I was done just writing that last time, she like stepped out the doors from courtroom B. Like I think they were locked or something prior to that. We couldn't get in for some reason. Because I was going to go sit in there and draw that courtroom. Ended up drawing the other one. So once that happened, I think everything went pretty quick. I didn't really have the chance to draw. I don't think there was any downtime. I did get lost. In testimony at one point. I was just kind of listening. Hey Jude. Oh yeah, there you go. So that's courtroom C. With the judge here in the middle. I think the reporter, the clerk. I think the clerk was on this side, and I do believe the reporter was down here. So this is what I was there for. You see the clock? I said earlier, the clock is usually on the wall where everybody can see it. And so as I got lost in this one, I started thinking that I already had reasonable doubt, and that the Commonwealth case was some sort of sham. For some reason, I couldn't figure it out quite yet, but something didn't feel right. So there was some sort of pause. I think somebody had to go to the bathroom or something. I don't recall. So RASHAUN was talking to, I keep saying Patrick. Patrick, another Irish name. Anyway, RASHAUN was talking to his lawyer, and he just kind of like puts his hand up like that. Kind of lawyer look, leans over. That was the vibe I was getting. Just kind of leaning into him. Hey. And then after I got done with them, I started drawing the hair bun of the Commonwealth lady lawyer and her little puppy dog from Satan. Is he from? What if I can get it closer up and try? $7:15, some of us become about now. It's light. It's light out. Don't fall. It's in the hole. Oh, did I miss anything about today? Yeah, so I was really like down to the minute looking at the clock. Detective Mitchell leaves. No, Detective Mitchell. That started at 2:26. So first they went to Meadow Square. Oh, that's where the defense, I realized, doesn't stand up to address the court. 2:26 is when I finally realized that this was a probable cause hearing. And then somebody said shit. And I didn't write what time she left, but it was pretty quick. Shit entered the court. So what I heard was, I thought either October 22nd or 23rd, and that's pretty much what the closing was. 2:43 it was closed. So 2:43 was see you next time in the grand jury. So 1:25 is when courtroom B. I started in courtroom B at 1:25. No, it was delayed because the court reporter hadn't shown up. So the court reporter sits. Oh, geez, I know I wrote this in there somewhere. Where did I write it? Bailiff is very cool and collected. First two. Oh yeah, the door guy. They reassessed the value of his door. For some reason, I thought it was like $1,600 or something. So at 1:30 is when the family comes in. I hadn't really noticed the second bailiff up until then. I thought it was just the awesome lady bailiff. Felt like he was going to be more the enforcer of the code, and I was sitting there thinking, it's like, okay, well, she's going to be maybe the go-between the judge, clerk, and whoever's defending paperwork they may need to leave, or I didn't see anybody else come back that didn't already have a jumpsuit on, I don't think, except for one guy. And I wish him luck. So 1:31 when he first got in. Yep. There was a transportation issue, which is why I think they wanted to get the two witnesses that came up at the very least right then. Like, no further delays, we'll push this back. So it was like, I think that was a BS for the the Commonwealth to try to pull it dirty like that. They're never gonna be seen again. Do it now, please. Do it now. More she was like. That's why I drew the prosecution or the Commonwealth in red, and the defense in whatever kind of color blue that is, maybe blue or purple. I don't know. Colorblind. So that's when they started talking about him driving all over the place. Some sort of robbery with a firearm. Something happened with that. I was wondering at that point who these witnesses for after they were called for the Commonwealth. Because I thought somewhere that at least one of them were, if not both of them, were RASHAUN's friends. So I thought they were being called. It's the prosecution call? Because at this point I didn't know what kind of trial it was. I didn't even know it was a murder trial at that point. What's going on here? So the witnesses were sworn in and then told to abruptly leave the courtroom so they couldn't hear the other witnesses' statements. So all these names are public. The first witness. So the state immediately goes into February the 14th. Well, let's back up. What happened on February the 13th? I would have been like, objection. Let's talk about February 14th. And because she objected to that and it got sustained, her what's the other option that she had sustained, and keeping out the going into the seeing what was around inside the apartment where he picked up the weed. Something was held back there. That should have been. So immediately I was like, you missed one of your defense. You're no A.J. Jackson. I think I wrote that even in here somewhere. Yeah, so February 14th was a Wednesday. Something like early morning. And then when I read the paper, I read Loudoun Times after I was looking to see what happened with this case later. I found it in like the Loudoun Examiner, Loudoun Times, and they both had this happened in the evening. So they drove around. Feels like the state had a firm grasp on the timeline right up to the gunshot. For some reason I wrote objection, estimated timeline. Oh yeah, the first witness was real quiet. So I kept having him to use the mic. There it is. So yeah, here I'm still taking in. At this point, I still had no idea that it was a murder case. So he was told to speak up, which he did. He went right and he spoke up right away after that. And then when he got a mic, he was like went back to talking normal, thinking the mic was like he was on a loudspeaker or something. I don't know. And that's when I noticed the court reporter using the athletic cup, talking into the athletic cup, just like in the Karen Reed case. I was like, we got a trifecta going on here. We had someone trying to be Action Jackson, and someone trying to be Lally. Now I'm working my way through. Roger, if you're the one that gets this video, you just texted me. I'm texting you back. I'm actually, as I'm speaking it, I'm actually starting to get a little drowsy. Dr. Sachs is helping. Yeah, so we had the defense, Action Jackson. Oh, the CW, even the Commonwealth, is trying to be Lally. And then, of course, you got the court reporter there. And that's when I wrote down where it happened. I was pondering about the court reporter. I got lost in the court reporter, and how she took her notation with the athletics reporter on. I was like, I was like, how does she do that? And I'm watching her, and so she's looking right. She's looking at, I think she was lip reading and reading their eyes. It'd be very interesting after doing this. So yeah, there was another thing in there that I remember. So with the court reporter, my thought was because she was the court reporter in the very first case that very first hearing that I was in, the court reporter said this was very unusual. They only put me over here for an hour, and my thought was, well, they probably put her here because she was the court reporter in the other case. So that's where this debacle of the court reporter. There's so many debacles in this case, but I didn't put down how basically the RASHAUN's little friend that was in the front passenger seat. Wow. Yep. That's it. Done. It's a 3-hour long stream. Skip to the end. So unless you're going to take a break when I take a break, there's a period of time in there we can just skip over. You can put the whole thing on 2 times speed, and I bet it'll sound just fine. Turn Dr. Sax Love off. Actually, I'll leave Dr. Sax Love on. I turn the live on. Oh, Dr. Sax Love.